I asked Zach, when you have a day where you just like it's not the best, it's like not the offense look like you wanted it to on a Sunday. What's that next week look like for you?
Same as any other week. You're just trying to get better, day in and day out. Obviously, second half wasn't what we wanted last week, but still things to build on. Still, obviously, room to improve, and just like every week, you learn from both the good and the bad, and move on.
At this point in your career, are there ever times where you watch the film and you feel surprised about what you see on it? Like, didn't expect for it to look like, a certain way?
Maybe here and there. I wouldn't say that I typically know what I'm looking at, and know what I'm getting, and where I feel like the ball should go.
When you look back, I mean, what kind of a couple days to digest kind of the tape? What kind of jumped out at you?
Yeah, I thought the first half was really good. We didn't we scored on 2 or 3 drives. In the one drive, we didn't. We had a chance to convert a third down, and Miles made a great play. In the second half, we just didn't make enough plays. We had good stuff called, and against those guys, you're going to get one-on-one opportunities, both up front and on the perimeter, and we didn't take advantage of any of those opportunities in the second half. And if you want to be a great offense in the NFL, you have to win your one-on-one battles, and in the second half, we didn't.
Did you catch any of the Baltimore game by chance?
I watched a little bit of it, yeah.
What is no one kind of that's in your division? How much does that kind of maybe when you see them playing at that kind of level? How much does that maybe impact you as you go through the season when you see teams playing at that level against that kind of game?
I'm not sure I'd say it impacts me. We know what we play both of those teams, and we've played those teams before. We've been in those spots against big opponents, and we typically show up in those situations. So we know that both of those teams have great quarterbacks. They have good pass rushes. They got great coaches that scheme things up. So we've played those teams before.
But is it kind of like a reminder of like this is the level we've got to be at our best, knowing that's the level of competition you're going to have to be in week out, week out?
Yeah, we know what it takes to win a Super Bowl. We know what it takes in this league. We've been there and done that. So we know where we have to be and how we have to get there.
Is there anything you guys can do pre-snap this week? So pre-snap isn't, you don't have those kind of communication issues or frustrations going into Sunday?
I'm not sure we had many communication issues on Sunday. I think we called 2 timeouts. One we lined up in the wrong formation, and I can't remember what happened on the other one. But aside from that, I feel like our operation and communication was pretty sound on Sunday.
How much of some of the stuff that was happening in the second half felt like bigger picture things that can take weeks to work out versus silly stuff that should be an easy one meeting, one practice type fix?
We know that their front is really good, and they're going to get home. They got 95, and they have several other very good players on that front that are going to provide pressure. And we know they're going to play man coverage and give us one-on-one opportunities. I think they have 2 of the best in man coverage, but they're going to play it. And in those situations, we got to make plays. I think I could have used my legs a little more in those situations, recognize man and try to get out of the pocket. But at the end of the day, we got to make one-on-one plays in big-time spots.
There's the hit from Miles when he came up the middle on you. You take a lot of hits in games. Where's that one rank in terms of when that one hits you?
I didn't necessarily. When you're out there, you don't really feel much. Let's say that was my best throw of the day. Everybody likes to show that hit, but not necessarily where I put the ball in that situation.
To that point, it seems like every time you guys play Cleveland, it's always kind of a weird game, and most of the time it feels like you come out of it saying a lot of that has to do with Myles Garrett, of course. But is it frustrating on the other end of that where it's like you guys also are the juggernaut that you are with Jamar, T, and you, like that doesn't necessarily come to fruition in the way that like Myles and how that works against you guys, that you guys weren't able to go in and just showcase that across the board?
Yeah, like I said last week, you have to go and prove it on every single Sunday you're out there. This is a league about what have you done for me this week. You know, every week, the narrative around you shifts depending on how you play on Sunday. So, like I said, we didn't make those plays on Sunday in those spots where typically we do, and we didn't on Sunday.
I don't think we know how many snaps Travis Hunter is going to play on defense yet. I mean, just 1 week for him so far. But did you watch him much in college? You know much about his game, and what have you noticed?
Yeah, I watched a lot of Colorado games last year. I feel like the timing and somehow always lined up for when we were off on Saturdays. But I got a lot of respect for, number one, what he was able to do in college, how many snaps he played, the elite level that he would play at on both sides of the ball when he was out there. Last week he didn't play much on defense, so there's very limited tape on that end for me. So I don't have a ton to say on that front, but I know what I watched in college, and on the defensive side of the ball, his ball skills are obviously great. That's why he's playing offense too. And he just continuously made plays, it seemed like, in big spots. So I got a lot of respect for what he did and how he did it, and I'm excited to watch him in the league.
Is there any corner that in the league now that his style reminds you of? Maybe he caught him, just the way he played?
Not really. You don't see a ton of guys with his ball skill ability playing on the defensive side of the ball. Trayvon Diggs had the one season with all those interceptions. But like I said, I haven't studied the tape of him on defense from college, and he played 3 snaps on defense last week. So I haven't seen a ton of that.
I think you had some limited defensive snaps back in high school. How much did you enjoy getting to play that side of the ball?
Yeah, I love playing defense. That was, I got couple varsity snaps my freshman year on defense, no quarterback. I could always tackle for the most part. I enjoyed that part of the game.
It was corner, right? Played corner.
Yeah, I played corner. Freshman team, I kind of moved around. JV, I kind of moved around, but varsity big games, I played corner. Yeah.
Sitting here at 1-0 this week, how much different does that feel versus other years where it might have been a disappointing loss in week 1? Sitting here at 1-0, how much different does that feel?
Yeah, certainly. I think we'd be having some different discussions in here if we had lost that game. I'm sure I'd be getting some different questions too. But regardless of win or loss, there were things that we had to get better at from Sunday, and so we've addressed those, and we're going to continue to address those until they get fixed.
When you watch tape, what do you look for the most? What you did well, what you didn't do well, mix, and following that up, curious whether or not you ever look at a play and think, I could have forced it there and I didn't, and I'm glad.
Yeah, I think when you watch it first, you try to figure out what happened on the first time you watch it. There's a lot of stuff going on throughout the game, and you remember the plays and what happened, but the film tells a different story, and so you try to figure out if what you remember happening is actually what happened on the tape, and then you look at how did what they did affect what we did. Did we do the right thing depending on how the defense played? And yeah, there's of course always some plays that you'd like to have back, and certainly depending on the situation, there's sometimes one that you could have maybe been a little more aggressive with the ball as opposed to what you did decide to do with it. So there's always learning experiences from every drive, every play, every game.
There was so much talk leading up to this season, Joe, about a fast start. Being 1-0, is a fast start bigger than just 1-0? Is it a big September? What is it in your mind, a fast start?
Well, I think we want to start fast in every game. You know, we want to put the opposing defense on their heels, go get points in those first couple drives, and, you know, see how the defense is going to change, see where we can manipulate them, where we can attack them. You know, I think starting fast is kind of an overarching theme. Yeah, you want to come out and be 2-0, but you want to play great on offense. You want to attack every single day, trying to get better. You want to not miss out on any reps throughout the week where you could possibly improve. There's a lot of things that go into it.
How long does it typically take you to get into the feel and the swing of season where just everything feels like it's clicking like it maybe does towards the end there? How long does it usually take you to get to that point?
It's tough to say. I think, you know, just like with anything, as you go, the more comfortable you get. At the beginning of the year, you're still getting used to the in-season schedule, waking up early, what you need to do on the day-to-day, each day differently with your body, with your mind, with your process of how you're learning the game plan. And so just like with anything, as you go, you get more comfortable.
Do you have a favorite part of your in-season routine that you really enjoy more than other parts of it?
Monday nights, Friday afternoons are usually my pretty chill days, so I look forward to those typically.
Pitch talked about the three plays on the boundary that didn't get made, three big ones. Is that something where those are just going to be clockwork in like another week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Is that just like get the cobwebs off?
Yeah, you'd like to say that, but like I said, you got to go out and prove it. You got to go out and make those plays. We've made those plays in the past. We didn't on Sunday, and so we have to go prove once again, just like every year, every week, that, you know, we can be those kinds of players to make big time contested plays in those situations, myself included. So I'm looking forward to going out and proving it on Sunday.
Is there one or two things that you want to do better this Sunday or last week?
You know, I think I'm going to be a little more aggressive to maybe get out of the pocket and make some plays. You know, just like every game, you want to get out and see how things are going. How's the defense playing you? How's their front playing? What coverages are we getting? You know, how are we attacking them so far, and how is it going? Do we need to change? Do we need to keep attacking them the way that they are? So I'm going to be ready to adapt for whatever we see.
What excites you the most about coming back home and playing in front of the home crowd here?
It's just another opportunity. You know, this is what we do for a living. This is what we love to do. Go out and try to put on a show for the people in this city and in this organization. And this is another opportunity to do it. I think we have 9 home games this year, so we got 9 opportunities to do it. This will be the first one, and I'm excited for it.
Do you and Trevor have a relationship all over the years or no?
Just talking when we play each other.
Does that win over the Jags, your first pro win, feel like 100 years ago?
Yeah, 100 years ago and yesterday. It's, I certainly remember a lot about that game, but like you said, a long time ago.
We don't remember anything that stand out.
I hit we had a pressure from the backside and empty, and somebody was free, and I pretended like I didn't see him, but I did see him, and I made him miss and wheeled out and got about 7 yards. That's the one that I remember.
It's like the first time you're kind of doing that stuff. Well, I mean, here in the pros, kind of.
Yeah, that's you never know how it's going to translate to the NFL, but I think it's translated all right.
What impressed you about what Jacksonville did this past week?
You can see their energy and physicality on defense. I think their front is very disruptive. Feels like I say that every week, but They have a lot of guys that I respect on that front, and they came up with some big time defensive plays. They safety drove a low cross on a naked and popped it up in the air, and guy made a diving interception, and they punched the ball out I think they were up maybe 10 or 14, and Carolina was driving. They punched the ball out and got a fumble recovery. Those are big time plays, so those are things that you always have to be aware of, but they put it on tape, so that's something that we've discussed.
A week ago, you praised the organization for going out and getting Noah and getting Golf and getting Mike. Obviously, Mike was signed to the roster yesterday, but just those guys, what they did in week one and your expectations for them moving forward.
Yeah, obviously Noah caught the touchdown. I think he played well when his opportunity presented itself. And we talked about Dalton last week, but to go in that spot and not really miss a beat, I don't know if he knew our plays or not, but he sure seemed like he did. And so he's just going to keep getting better in our scheme. And we're having discussions about very detailed, oriented parts of protection and run game and different things, and so he's just going to continue to get better for us.
What do you expect from Sam Hubbard, his rule of the jungle?
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. I think you can expect a double-armed flex, though. I think that one's a given.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.